What a matchup we have this weekend in Dallas. It's the 3-3 Washington Commanders going on the road to play their arch rival, the Dallas Cowboys, who are 2-3-1. What a historic rivalry this is. Whoa, I get the goosebumps, man. Cowboys, Redskins, Cowboys, Commanders, Cowboys, football team, Washington, and Dallas. Let's freaking go. This Top of Mind is brought to you by Chevrolet. Football season is here, and whether you're grinding through the week or gearing up for kickoff, there's one ride that's always game ready, the Chevy Silverado. Built for the hustle, ready for the game. Silverado is America's most dependable full-size truck. Head to Chevy.com to learn more and build your own Chevy Silverado. Okay, Sunday in Dallas, it's the 3-3 Commanders heading to play the 2-3-1 Cowboys. What a matchup this is. You know, this is a historic rivalry. I hate to just get too deep and philosophical, but do you remember Tom Landry and George Allen? Do you remember Jimmy Johnson and the great Joe Gibbs? My God. Do you remember the Diesel, John Riggins? How about the all-time leading rusher, Emmitt Smith? I mean, it goes on and on. Art Monk, Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Billy Kilmer, Jurgensen, and Staubach. On and on and on. And I love the true rivalries in football, and this is arguably the biggest one. This is a battle of two head coaches that are very familiar with one another. Brian Schottenheimer of the Cowboys, an offensive guy, and Dan Quinn, a defensive coach of the Commanders. Quinn was the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, if you remember that, and he and Schottenheimer were on the same staff for a couple years. And way back in 2007, 2008, Quinn was the defensive line coach for Eric Mangini and the New York Jets, and Brian Schottenheimer was the offensive coordinator. So these guys know each other well. They have a lot of respect between the two of them, and I know deep down they like to get after each other and get a W. This is going to be a very competitive match. You know, the Cowboys have this great stadium. First time I walked in there and saw that Jumbotron, I was like, man, this is sweet. I was distracted until the middle of the third quarter.
Coach, plays live. Eyes down here.
Y'all see how clear that is? It's like 4K in the sky.
Yeah, it's big. So's the guy running right past us.
Coach, focus. They're in hurry up.
Right, I'm on it. I just, look at that angle, though.
Coach!
Okay, trips left, 17 out, let's roll.
About time.
You know, the Cowboys were 8-0 at home in 2023. It was a distinct advantage. But since that time, they're just 3-7-1. Both of these teams are kind of hovering around the mediocre line. You know what I mean? 3-3, 2-3-1. They have a convincing game one week and a disappointing game the next. Both of these teams are coming off really disappointing losses. I mean, the Commanders lost at home. They let Caleb Williams come home to his home city and get a win. They beat the Washington Commanders, who messed around late in the game. They turned the ball over, and they got beat. And the Dallas Cowboys, they got mauled in Carolina. The score really didn't indicate the outcome of the game. Carolina had 220 yards rushing, and Dallas had 31. So both teams are coming off a tough loss. Neither one of these teams has won 2 in a row. Neither one of these teams has lost 2 in a row. They've been up, they've been down. You know what? It's a good way to say you're average. And I remember Johnny Majors coaching at Tennessee when I was an assistant. He said, we're average, that's all we are. The best of the worst and the worst of the best. Stuck with me for my entire life. This is a springboard game, you see, for the Cowboys and for the Commanders. They both got to have it because at the end of this day, somebody's going to have a 2-game losing streak, and that ain't good. The NFC East is up for grabs. Believe it or not, the Philadelphia Eagles, the world champions, are coming off a 2-game losing streak. Something ain't right in Philly, let me tell you. And now the Washington Commanders are only 1 game out at 3-3. The Cowboys sitting here at 2-3-1, and the Giants 2-4-0. Somebody's got to pick it up. Somebody's going to win this division. Remember, nobody has won the NFC East in back-to-back seasons since Andy Reid's Philadelphia Eagles in 2001 to 2004. That's the longest streak in NFL history. So who's going to win the East? This game's going to have a lot to do with who does. You know, one of the reasons both of these teams are kind of average right now and unable to get out of the funk is the turnover margin. The Dallas Cowboys right now have only taken the ball away 3 times. They've given it away 6 times. They're -3 in the turnover margin. That's not good. The Washington Commanders are no better in the turnover margin. They have only taken it away a couple times, and they've given it away more than they've taken it away. And that's the reason why both of these teams are struggling and in a funk. Both of these teams are battling injuries. The Cowboys on the offensive line, perhaps they get their star receiver, CeeDee Lamb, back. The Washington Commanders, they're missing Terry McLaurin, their great receiver. They're missing Noah Brown. They're missing Cosme, their right guard. Both of these teams are struggling big time on defense. We'll get into that in a second. But both of these teams have high-powered offenses, man, and they got quarterbacks that are pretty damn good. The over-under on this game is 54.5 for all you guys thinking about doing something. Hell, think about the Cowboys at home. They scored 40 points in their first home game, beat the Giants 40-37. Then they scored 40 points again, and they tied the Packers 40-40. Here's my arithmetic, Jake. 40 and 37 is 77. 40 and 40 is 80. And the over-under on this game is 54.5. What would you do, Jake? Would you take the over?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, you would, man. Think about that. I know it's hard for you. You know, Washington took great pride last year in winning those tight games at crunch time. They talk about executing in winning time moments. Well, that hasn't happened this year. For instance, they couldn't get off the field against Atlanta. Mike Penix converted 3 straight third downs. Falcons beat the Commanders. And then last week, they can't hand the football off with a lead. I know it's raining, but you got in the shotgun operation. They fumbled the ball. They didn't make the plays that they made the year before. They got to get back to their secret sauce. And the Dallas Cowboys, what the hell's going on with this defense? I mean, Rico Dowdle, okay, your former running back, he's playing at Carolina. He called you out before the game. He says, you better buckle up. And guess what? He did get after Dallas's ass. He had 183 yards rushing. He had 5 straight carries. It was like a jab, a jab, a jab, another jab, another roundhouse. I mean, Rico Dowdle took Dallas out, man. So what's it gonna be in this rivalry with a lot of chips on the table? Who's gonna rise up and make the key plays? These two quarterbacks are outstanding. Funny thing is they've never gone up against each other. Last year, Jaden Daniels' Rookie of the Year season, they played the Cowboys in split, but Dak didn't play in either game. It was Cooper Rush in one game and Trey Lance in the finale. This will be the first time Dak Prescott goes up against Jaden Daniels. That's worth the price of admission. I tell you this, Prescott went 4-0 against Kirk Cousins, 2-0 against Case Keenum. He went 2-0 against Heineke. He went 1-0 against my friend Colt McCoy. And he went 0-1 against Alex Smith, 2-1 against Sam Howell. He's 11-2 all-time against Washington. Whether you're the Redskins, Commanders, or the football team, he has your number. But it's going to be the first time he sees Jedi 5. I learned that from Fred Smoot at Barstool.
Jedi 5 checking at the line, lightsaber in hand.
That's still wild to say at an NFL game.
Here comes the snap. Saber holstered, drops back, fires deep right side. Perfect spiral, caught by McLaurin. Down the sideline, staying inbounds inside the 10.
He says Jedi 5 is ready. This will be the first time they go head-to-head. You know, when I look at Dak Prescott in 2023, he was the runner-up to the MVP in the league. You got to remember this. Son of a bitch. He threw for 4,500, 36 touchdowns and 9 picks. And then last year in 2024, he hurt that hamstring season-ending injury. Now he's back, and when I look at Prescott, he's playing like the MVP candidate he was in 2023. He is shredding people. I got a new song called Shred. Shred, shred. You like that song? Do you? I do. I think of Prescott. He leads the league in attempts, completion. He's second in yards, second in touchdowns. He's off to a brilliant start. And then Jaden Daniels. He's missed a couple games. He got hurt. He's back. He looked really good against the Chargers. They had some struggles in the rain last week against the Bears. Not quite the same passing slate that they had last year without the great Terry McLaurin. Hard to replace him and Noah Brown and Austin Eckler. That's a lot of firepower, man, that you're missing. But Daniels, the quickest in history to rush for 1,000 yards from the quarterback position. He did it in just 20 games. He's only entering his 22nd start as an NFL quarterback, but this guy is sensational. He can run it, he can throw it, he can make plays when there's absolutely nothing there. You know, the other thing this game has is 2 running backs that are obscure. It's not like John Riggins showing up in Dallas to go up against Emmitt Smith. This is Javonte Williams, who signed a 1-year, $3 million contract, former first-round pick at North Carolina, had a terrible knee injury a couple years ago. This man has 476 yards rushing. He's 4th in the NFL rushing, averaging 5.2 yards a carry. He's already got 5 rushing touchdowns, which is a career high for him, and he's caught 22 passes. Javonte Williams going up against a struggling Washington defense. And who in the hell is this Bill guy? I love this guy, Bill. His name is Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, but he likes to be called Bill. I mean, Austin Eckler's out. They traded Brian Robinson to the 49ers before the season started, and Bill has 344 yards rushing already, 5.7 yards a carry and 4 touchdowns. Here's a guy that's a 7th-round pick. He transferred a couple times. He went to Arizona. They declared him ineligible. He did not even play football last year. But he hung in there on the scout team. He came to training camp with Washington, and they said, holy shit, we got Bill. But this is Javonte Williams and Bill squaring off with Dak Prescott and Jaden Daniels. It's going to be exciting. Last year, quick recap of the game. In Week 12, the Cowboys, miraculous 34-26 win. There was 31 points scored in the last 4 minutes. We all remember Turpin, that 99-yard kickoff return. Bates had a fumble. All hell broke loose. A lot of lead changes. Cowboys win. How about them Cowboys, 34-26? And then in Week 18, it was Trey Lance playing quarterback for Dallas in Mike McCarthy's final game as a Cowboy coach. And the Commanders, split time, Jaden Daniels started the game. Marcus Mariota ultimately won the game in the 4th quarter. Washington won that game 23-19. Dallas has a command in this series, 79-49-2. Cowboys have won 6 out of the last 8. Cowboys have won 13 out of 18. But it's the first time, Prescott, it's the first time Jedi 5 have gone head-to-head with Bill and Javonte. That'll be cool, man. Let's take a look at the kickers. You know, the Washington Commanders, I think they went through 3 different kickers last year. They settled on Matt Gay in free agency. Matt Gay comes over from the Colts. He missed a 50-yarder the other night. I watched it. He's missed 4 kicks this year. I can't believe it. Gay is 10 for 14 on field goals. He's got to get his act together. This guy's a great kicker. He's going to be needed in this one. Every point's going to matter. And for the Cowboys, if I had a fathead poster of Brandon Aubrey, I'd put it right here in my kitchen. This guy's automatic. He's made kicks from 65, 64, 60, and 60. This is 28 out of 31 from 50 yards plus. He's 12 for 12 on field goals. Why do we waste time when Aubrey comes out there? Just give him the 3 points. Screw it. Guy's unbelievable, man. Both teams have great returners. The Cowboys, I hope, are going to get Kevontae Turpin back, their Pro Bowl returner. I told you he took one back 99 yards against Washington last year. He's one of the only guys I can remember that took a punt and a kickoff back in the same season. Turpin's a badass. And there's a young man from Virginia Tech, a rookie, Jalen Lane. He took one back 90 yards against my Raiders, man. This guy's electrifying, man. You got to be careful how you kick the ball to these 2 returners. And I'd love to see Deebo Samuel return some kickoffs like he did earlier in the season. He was averaging 36.8 yards per return, but when McLaurin and Noah Brown got hurt, they said, hey, we can't afford risking him back there. But they have great returners on both sides of the ball. Some interesting news on the injuries. Again, this is not game day, so make sure you check these things before you do anything. For Washington, I think Terry McLaurin is out. McLaurin had 13 touchdowns last year. I think he had 4 more in the playoffs. They miss him terribly, and I don't think he's playing. That's big news because they were hoping he would play. Sam Cosmi, outstanding right guard, got hurt in the NFC title game last year. Cosmi is getting very close to returning to right guard. Keep an eye on that. He might just play. Noah Brown, very good receiver. They put him on IR. He just can't get well, so that's tough. Dorrance Armstrong, who leads the Commanders with 5.5 sacks, has a hamstring issue. He didn't practice my last check. You better check on number 92. He's a badass. They got to have him. And Deebo Samuel, he didn't practice either. He's got a sore heel, and if you've ever seen Deebo play, he cuts a lot, man. That heel can really hinder his movements. That's a problem. For the Cowboys, their rookie first-round pick, Tyler Booker, he's been out the last couple weeks. They say he's been limited on the practice field. Will it be Booker or T.J. Bassett, right guard? Kevontae Turpin, he's been out the last 2 weeks. Let's see if he's available. I am told he's rolling. And CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb had 100 yards the first week, 100 the second week. He got hurt in Chicago on the 7th play of the game. He's missed pretty much the last 4 weeks. I'm told CeeDee Lamb is rolling. That's about all I have on the injury front. Let's get into this game. Let's go. This offense-defense matchup is brought to you by Fox 1. On Fox 1, you can stream your favorite live sports. So you never miss those "did you see that" moment? That means Fox NFL Sundays are now on Fox 1. It's NFL Sundays, all streaming live the way it was meant to be watched. It's also the best way to stay locked in on your action. Whether you're sweating your fantasy matchup, tracking a parlay, or riding the chaos live as it happens. I hate watching on delay. I got to see things live. Start your 7-day free trial today. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox 1 for complete terms and conditions. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys offense, the Washington Commander defense. This is head coach Brian Schottenheimer calling plays against his old coaching mate, Dan Quinn. I used to love that, showing up at the stadium, going up against somebody I used to share an office with. This is going to be cool. The Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator, you need to know this. His name is Clayton Adams. Yes, Schottenheimer, you'll see him calling the plays, but Clayton Adams, he's coaching this offensive line. He's doing a lot with this run game. He has full autonomy, I'm told, with the running game. He came over from the Arizona Cardinals. Nobody knows this either because not enough people pay attention, man. Clayton Adams had a top 10 running game with Arizona 2 years in a row. His presence, his running game is a big reason why the Dallas Cowboys lead the league in total offense. How about them Cowboys? Clayton Adams, you deserve a hell of a lot of credit. They're 3rd in the league in scoring, 1st in the league in total offense, 15th running it, and 2nd throwing it. Remember last year, they didn't have a running game. Well, now, with Javonte Williams, they have more than a running game. They can jam it right down your throat, and they have set up some really good play-action passes and bootlegs. They've done a nice job. The Cowboys are poor on defense, and that's an understatement. The Cowboy offense has scored over 175 points in 6 games, and they have 2 wins. Not many teams can say that in NFL history. I mean, this offense is playing good enough right now to be undefeated. They got to get some help from their defense. And I'll say this, if they need to score 195 points or 215 points in the next 6 games, go get it done. Because they got the firepower to do it. They're fun to watch. They're explosive as hell, man, and they are balanced. This running game has really helped them. They have some emerging badasses in this offense. When I started watching Javonte Williams play, I said, that's the guy I remember at North Carolina. I coached the Raiders when he was with the Broncos. He runs hard, he is rugged and tough, man, and he's making big runs. He's had a 66-yard run, a 50-yard run, a 33-yard run. He comes out of the trash. He's a hell of a blitz pickup guy. I love Williams. The other guy is this ex-Pittsburgh Steeler, George Pickens. He's putting it all together, man. I mean, CeeDee Lamb gets hurt, and I'm thinking Dallas is in deep shit. Right, Clay?
Right.
Wrong. I mean, look at Prescott. 817 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, no picks without CeeDee Lamb. And guess who's back? CeeDee Lamb, one of the most productive players in the NFL. That's awesome. But George Pickens has really been a shredder. And you know I love that song. I want to sing it again.
Yes, shred.
I can tell you, man. They're shredding people. Prescott has been spectacular. As I said earlier, he could be the MVP of the league if we had to cancel the season today. He's doing it like Jared Goff is doing it at the line of scrimmage. RCE. Write those 3 letters down again, young quarterbacks. He recognizes the defense. He uses a lot of pre-snap motion to determine the coverage, see the matchups, fix the protections, and get the Cowboys in optimum play selection. And he's making all kinds of throws. Tight windows, on the move, off platform. Prescott's playing great. He's a badass, and it looks like he's on a mission. We just need a little help from our defense, for crying out loud. Cowboys got to start faster. The only thing I can really find wrong is they've been outscored 40-16 in the first quarter. You got to get the crowd in the game, man. We got to get our defense off the field, get a lead, and pour it on. But they haven't started very fast. Matter of fact, 40-16, that's like getting kicked in the groin. You hate that? I do. Do they have enough footballs to go around now that CeeDee Lamb is back? I mean, CeeDee gets a lot of targets and a lot of catches, justifiably so. But Pickens' emergence, the need to get it to CeeDee. Ferguson, the tight end, has 44 catches. Javonte Williams, he's a guy that needs the rock. So Dak Prescott has a lot of guys that he can distribute the ball to. I hope everybody remains unselfish, and I think that's the key for the Cowboys down the stretch here. The offensive line of the Cowboys has a lot of high picks, and I love the investment in big people. D-line, O-line, and that's what the Cowboys have done on this side of the ball. But if you look at right tackle, Terrence Steele wears number 78. He's the only Cowboy on the offensive line to start every week. Left tackle, Tyler Guyton is back, but he's been out. Left guard, Tyler Smith, Pro Bowler. He's been out, missed time. Their center, BB's on IR. They're using Brock Hoffman in there. And the right guard, Tyler Booker, first-round pick, he hasn't played the last 2 weeks. They've been using TJ Bass in there. So all the injuries you would think with the loss of CeeDee Lamb would cripple this offense. Wrong. They've done a hell of a job, man. They're doing an excellent job in pass protection and opening up running lanes for the most part for Javonte Williams. And it goes back to Clayton Adams and this offensive staff. They're very good coaches, and it shows. Javonte Williams, just a couple things on this back. I remember coaching the Raiders. We brought in Tyrone Wheatley, who was the number 1 pick of the Giants. The Giants let Wheatley go. Then he went to Miami, and they let Wheatley go. We brought Wheatley in, and he earned a spot on our team. And the more we gave it to him, the more we all started believing in Wheatley. And we said, give it to Wheatley. Give it to him again. Give it to him again. That's what's happening in Dallas. They're starting to believe in this back. The fans are getting behind him. This man is on schedule for 1,300 yards. They run old school Marty Schottenheimer plays. You remember Brian's dad of the Kansas City Chiefs with Christian Okoye? They used to slam the power at you. The duo, the toss crunches. You're seeing some of the same runs from Javonte Williams that we've seen back in the day. And I said he can break long runs. Last year, the longest run the Cowboys had was 27 yards. I used to go like this watching the running game. That's a snore. I couldn't even stay awake. Right now, this guy's making big plays. It's fun. But last week against Carolina, where's the running game? Dallas, 31 rushing yards. The pad level wasn't good. We didn't hit some of our double teams, too much penetration, and a lot of stalemates. You know, you just come off the ball and get a tie. These Cowboy linemen got to come off the ball, better pad level, and they got to win at the line of scrimmage and get Williams going. Wasn't good enough last week. 2 distinctly different badass wide receivers. When you watch CeeDee Lamb over the last several years, 50% of his yardage is after the catch. What's that noise Berman makes? Whoa, whoa, whoa! He can make you miss, and he can knock you out. He's got a rare combination of elusiveness and power. Hard to tackle for some of these corners. And then you got George Pickens. He's like a Venus flytrap, man. What? He can snatch that ball. He can make some of the damnedest catches I've ever seen. He's got incredible body control, and he's concentrating down after down. He's competing his ass off. This might be as good a 1-2 combination as there is in football. Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I can't wait to see what they do in Dallas on Sunday. Prescott and Coach Schottenheimer have a lot of time on task. They've been working together. Remember, Schottenheimer was here with Mike McCarthy. And you're going to see Dak under the center, executing a lot of different footwork, a lot of different ball handling. You're going to see him in a no-back set. You'll see a lot of move the pocket, quick game. You're going to see a lot of receivers that are very versatile. They can put Lamb in the slot. They can put Pickens in the slot. They can put Ferguson in the slot. Everybody has the same route tree outside. They have a lot of versatile, skilled guys, and they do an excellent job. Let's take a look at the Commanders' defense. Joe Witt Jr. is the defensive coordinator. He also was an ex-Dallas Cowboy. He came to the Commanders with Coach Quinn. They're doing okay in scoring defense, but they're giving up a lot of big plays and a lot of yards. They're 26th in total defense, 20th in rushing defense, 23rd in passing defense. When I look at the Commanders, they've given up some really ugly, explosive plays. 6 pass plays of over 40 yards. You're like, who the hell covers that guy? You know, you're standing on the sidelines looking at your sideline sheet, and you're like, the hell are we doing? There's some big plays they've given up, which is uncharacteristic of this defense. Their run defense did not look good last week against the Bears. I mean, DeAndre Swift and the Bears, they came to Washington with a struggling rushing attack, but they left feeling pretty good about themselves. DeAndre Swift ripped Washington, one of the biggest games he's had as a Chicago Bear. There just aren't any takeaways. And if you look at Dan Quinn, all his years as a coach in Seattle, in Dallas, hell, when he was in Dallas, they led the league with 93 turnovers from 2021 to 2023. They led the league in interceptions. Right now, they've got 3 takeaways in 6 games. That ain't going to cut it, man. Sainristil still has 2 interceptions. I don't know if there's another commander that has a pick, and it's killing them because they rely on turnovers and big plays. They've allowed 46 plays of 15 yards or more. That's more than almost everybody in the entire league. They got to fix that, man. They've given up 5.7 yards of play. That's 26th in the league. So you get my drift here. They're not stopping people. They're not getting the ball back, and they're giving up too many yards, which is killing Washington in field position. The hard part for Washington is they really haven't seen the high-powered offenses yet. Like today, they're going to see the 3rd-ranked scoring offense, the Dallas Cowboys. Then they got to go see Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid next. And then guess what? They get the 5th-ranked Seattle Seahawks, who are smoking. And after that, they get Sean McVay and the 2nd-ranked Rams. So, Washington, let's get out of that funk, man. Let's start playing better team defense. This is not a big blitz team this year. They're blitzing 29% of the time, which is pretty much on par with what Dan Quinn has done in the past. They blitzed 33% of the time a year ago, but they got to do something. They got to do something against some of these linemen that have been in and out of the lineup, bat a pass, cause a mistake, get a sack, get a strip, get a fumble, make a big play. The pressure rate is good. If you know anything about Dan Quinn, you should know he is one hell of a defensive line coach. He went to Hofstra College way back in the day. He's been a hell of a D lineman forever. And his D linemen get to the quarterback. They got 16 sacks this year. That's 6th in the league. What I love about it is they got 9 different commanders with at least 1 sack. So there's a lot of people that contribute to the rush. They're 5th in the league in sack percentage. 9% of the time you drop back, your quarterback gets knocked on his ass. They do a nice job. And they're 4th in pressure rate. You know, a lot of guys get into that stat. You know, I do. Are we getting anything on the guy? Are we getting near him? Well, 41% of the time, which is 4th in the league, Washington knocks that quarterback off the spot. The 2 inside linebackers are 2 men that you should really tip your hat to, whether you're a Commander fan or not. That's Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu. You know, Bobby Wagner, I think he's 36 years old. The guy just doesn't seem to slow down. He has 65 tackles. The next closest commander is Frankie Louvu with 34. These guys make all the tackles, man, and they never come off the field. You know, Bobby Wagner has played every single snap, all 375, and Frankie Louvu, he's played all but 6 snaps. So it's a credit to these two commanders. Their recognition, communication, versatility, run and pass, and effort, man. It's incredible. And they rely on these two guys to do it all. Last couple points. The defensive line of the Washington Commanders, when you look at the edge rushers, I get dizzy wondering who the hell's out there. They have 7 different rushers that have appeared on the edge. And they've got 7 guys that have played over 100 snaps. Nobody on the edge has played more than 65% of the snaps. So you're going to see Armstrong and Von Miller. You're going to see Frankie Louvu. You'll see Holmes. You'll see all kind of different men on the outside. And you'll see different combinations on the inside. Defensive tackle, Payne. Daron Payne, number 94. He's playing square. He's playing strong. He's getting rid of blockers, and he's playing really good against the run. He's got 21 tackles. He's got 1 sack. They've adjusted some of their fundamentals and their techniques up front, and they've gotten bigger people. Javon Kinlaw, 99, came over from the Jets. Kinlaw and Payne give them girth and strength inside, and they have some edge rushers with a lot of versatility. Let's take a look at the matchups. The offensive line of the Cowboys, it'll be Guyton, Smith, Hoffman, and I believe T.J. Bass will be the right guard. I don't think their rookie first-round pick Booker is going to be ready. Steele has been the mainstay at right tackle. And the matchups on the edge, I think the big guy to look out for is the ex-Dallas Cowboy, Dorrance Armstrong. He came over to Washington with Quinn. He's got 5.5 sacks. He rushes over the guard. He rushes at left end and right end. Great motor. He's got a great inside move. He's got speed to get the edge, and he plays his ass off. Armstrong, 92, you better be ready for him. And Von Miller, just like Bobby Wagner, is another ageless wonder. Every time I say Von Miller's name, I get, oh shit, Von Miller. He used to really piss me off. He's wearing number 24 now. If you watch him against the Chargers a couple weeks ago, you're like, holy shit, he's still the same guy, man. This guy's got a very good long arm technique. He still has speed to get the edge. He can run right over you. He's only playing 39% of the time, but he's got a few sacks. He's still very capable. We already talked about Kinlaw and Payne inside. Jerzon Newton, number 95, second-year player out of Illinois, has some juice, has some thump in there. The tight end for the Cowboys, Jake Ferguson, 87, 44 catches. That's 5th in the NFL when it comes to tight ends. Not averaging a lot of yardage after the catch, but he does have a few touchdowns. He's very crafty. He had a nice seam route last week against Carolina for a touchdown. They used Luke Schoonemaker periodically, number 86. He's got 5 catches and 24 yards, but it's this number 89, Brevin Spanford, 89. You'll see him, and you'll see him doing all kind of dirty work in the running game. He'll line up on one side of the formation off the ball. He'll come over here and block the defensive end on a cross sift. He'll pull on counter plays. This guy is a big part of the running game. 89, he's a run blocker, a strategic Ginsu knife. 87 and 86 are receivers. The safeties for the Commanders, they've had some issues. Quan Martin, the free safety, number 20, good player, but he has missed a lot of tackles. He missed a big one last week against Swift on the 55-yard touchdown. He's missed 8 tackles. I count them because it makes you groan when you see one. He's missed 8. He's got to do a better job in space. They got to get on the same page. Quan Martin and Jeremy Reeves. Jeremy Reeves is the strong safety because Will Harris, who came over from New Orleans, is hurt. I had to look into Reeves. He's been in the league for a while, but he only played 4 snaps of defense last year. I can't believe it. But now he's played 222 snaps. He's had some issues and some communication issues in the back end. They got to really tighten it up, man, against CeeDee Lamb and Pickens and Ferguson. You got me, Jake?
Yep.
Very important. On the outside, Marshawn Lattimore, the ex-New Orleans Saint. He's wearing number 2. Still a really good player. Played really good the last couple weeks. Got to eliminate the penalties. He's got 4 holding calls. He's got a personal foul. He had another penalty called back. Got to be more consistent because he is a shutdown guy if he's right. The guy that really jumps off the screen at me is Trey Amos. He's the 2nd-round pick out of Ole Miss. He's wearing number 23. I mean, here's a guy that doesn't act like a rookie. I mean, he doesn't practice like a rookie, and I damn sure know he doesn't play like a rookie. If you line up on the outside edge of the numbers in a nice normal split, he'll get up in your grill, and it's over. This guy's a great technician, very confident press corner. I like his demeanor. He has a mental toughness about him. If he has a bad snap, he'll kick your ass the next snap. He really has a great playing style and temperament. They really hit the jackpot with their 2nd-round pick, Trey Amos. Amos and Lattimore, they got to have the best game of the year. I want to see him come out and challenge these 2 receivers, these hot shots of the Cowboys. And Mike Sainristil, he's a badass, number 0. He's got both interceptions. He's the nickel corner, 2nd-round pick out of Michigan. They got to have Sainristil in the slot, play his best game. Because they're going to put CeeDee Lamb in there. They're going to put Pickens and Ferguson in there. Dak Prescott's going to go to work in the slot. He always does. But these 3 DBs have talent. I just get a little nervous about Martin and Reeves in the back end. You guys with me, Jake?
Yep.
And then we've already talked about Javonte Williams. It's also important to note that his backup, Miles Sanders, is out for the year. So now, if Javonte Williams needs a drink of water, which he might, they're going to go to Jaden Blue, the rookie out of Texas, 5th-round pick. Blue has 7 carries, 7 yards. I keep hearing about all this speed, all this home run potential, and I got a feeling you might just see it Sunday against the Commanders because the Commanders struggle covering backs out of the backfield. Ask yourself what Bijan Robinson did to him. He had about 120 yards receiving. I will be shocked if you don't hear Jaden Blue coming out of the backfield on a rail route against one of these veteran linebackers. You better watch out for that. You know, the Cowboys, they also found another sleeper at wide receiver. They also have Jalen Tolbert, which you all know, 11 catches, 109 yards. He wears number 1. But I'm seeing this guy from Southeast Missouri State, man, where I used to coach. His name is Ryan Flanoy. He goes downtown against the Jets. This guy's making a lot of plays. They've done a great job finding talent and developing talent at the skilled positions. And they have Kamante Turpin back, who's a real weapon. He's got 11 catches, 160 yards himself, and they will hand the ball off to Turpin on a jet sweep. You know why they call it a jet sweep, Clay? Because this guy runs like a freaking rocket, man. The Cowboys got speed. They're going to score. The question is, can they score early in the game instead of waiting around until the 2nd or 3rd quarter? They got to jump on Washington. They're going to have to score 40 to win this game. Okay, the Washington Commanders offense against the Dallas Cowboys defense. It looks like a mismatch the way I see it right now. The Commanders on offense led by Cliff Kingsbury. He and Jaden Daniels in their 2nd year working together. They run this air raid thing, but really it's the ground game that gets my attention. And they're going up against Matt Eberflus in his 1st year as a defensive coordinator with the Cowboys. Eberflus is a hell of a defensive coach. He was with the Colts, he was with the Cowboys, hell, he was the head coach of the Bears. But this Dallas Cowboy defense, man, they are really struggling to do anything right. Let's start with the Commanders on offense. They're 7th in scoring. They're 2nd in rushing offense, 23rd in pass offense. They miss Terry McLaurin, their great receiver. McLaurin had 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He's the guy that broke the huddle. That's the first thing we used to do. Where the hell is McLaurin at? He ain't out there. So now defenses can focus their concentration elsewhere. It's been a problem. Kingsbury and Daniels, do they ever take a snap from under center? They didn't even take one last week in a pouring rainstorm at the end of the game. This is a shotgun operation, some incredible RPO, dazzling ball handling expeditions. They're in the pistol, they're in the gun. They use a lot of empty formations, and they run a lot of gap scheme counter plays with same side ball handling. Weird endeavors in the back end. They really do. They're not only missing Terry McLaurin, they're missing Noah Brown, who's a really good receiver. And they lost a hell of a football player, Austin Eckler, their running back, in that Green Bay Thursday night game several weeks ago. So they're missing some real firepower. They're just like Dallas on offense from the standpoint they start too slow also. They've been outscored 36-14 in the first quarter. Remember I said this. I think whoever wins the first quarter might just win this football game because somebody's going to have to outscore the other team. You can't wait around until it's over to start scoring. The details in this offense got to pick up. You know, they've had Daniels in and out of the lineup. They're breaking in Deebo Samuel. They're breaking in a new right tackle. Laramie Tunsil came over to play left tackle. Cosme is out at right guard. Hey, they got a lot of moving pieces. They got too many false starts, and they didn't handle the 4-minute drill at the end of that Chicago game very good either. And they turned it over 3 times, which is totally uncharacteristic of a Jaden Daniels-led offense. He threw an interception in the red zone. Bill fumbled the ball. That's the second week in a row, and then they missed the ball handling late in the game. They got to clean up their operation. When I watch Washington play, the guy that really pops off the screen is this center, Tyler Biadasz. The reason I'm making a big deal out of this is guess who he used to play for, Jake? The Cowboys! So he wants to kick their ass. You know he has a great athletic set. This guy can pull, he can reach block, he's great on screens. Biadasz is a Pro Bowl badass going up against his old team. We've already talked about Daniels, the adjustments that he has had to make. Remember, he's the Rookie of the Year, incredible performance going to the Final Four in just his first season. But now everybody has used him as an off-season project. How do we stop this guy? What do we got to do? And people now don't look at it like, who the hell is Jaden Daniels? He has become an off-season research project for everybody. They went to training camp, tried to incorporate Deebo Samuel into their offense, the former 49er. Remember, Terry McLaurin held out of training camp. He wanted a new contract. So he's had to adjust to a lot of new people, and he also had to adjust to being hurt. He got hurt, man. Marcus Mariota took over for 2 weeks. Now he's back. So now Daniels is finding his rhythm, and they need him to find it big time against this Cowboy defense. I think what Daniels is learning is something I remember Brett Favre learning as a young quarterback when we were in Green Bay in 1992. Brett would throw it in there, man, because he knew he could throw it in there. But I think sometimes you got to make a decision. Just because you can make that throw doesn't mean you should make that throw. And I think that's what happened on the Daniels decision last week against Chicago in the red zone. Deep down, he knows he can make that throw, but he probably shouldn't have pulled the trigger in that situation. So there's a little experience that sometimes you have to learn from in negative situations, and I think that's what Daniels is in the process of doing. You know what's funny about this running game of the Washington Commanders is when you study the top rushing offenses in football since the start of the 2024 season, number 1 in yardage is the Baltimore Ravens, number 2 is the Philadelphia Eagles, and number 3 is the Washington Commanders. So when you look at the Baltimore Ravens number 1, who's the feature back, Jake?
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. Who's the feature back of the Eagles?
Saquon
Barkley. Well, I mean, when I look at it, Derrick Henry has 2,360 yards, and Saquon has 2,360. That's the top 2 rushing offenses. But when you look at the Commanders, who are number 3, their number 1 rusher doesn't even have over 800. Their number 1 rusher is Jaden Daniels, who's got 1,079. A lot of that is on scramble runs. They traded Brian Robinson, who had 799 to the 49ers. Eckler has 410. McNichols has 370, and my friend Bill has 344. So my point is, even though this is a very statistically excellent running game, a lot of that comes from Jaden Daniels on scrambles and quarterback-driven runs. So knock on wood if you understand what I'm saying. The Commanders are good in the red zone. They score 75% of the time. Problem is they've only been down there 15 times. They got to get down to the red zone more, and it goes back to this. Their third down conversion rate on offense is not good. They're only converting 33%. And again, a lot of that has to do with the absence of Noah Brown and certainly Terry McLaurin and Austin Eckler. These are three great playmakers, so that is a problem for the Commanders. Okay, it's the Cowboys' first year in Matt Eberflus's system. Eberflus took over for Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer took over for Dan Quinn. When I look at this Cowboy defense, it's almost astonishing how poor they are in every statistical category. And I don't want to pile on and be Johnny Negative here. I hate those kind of guys. But they are 31st in scoring, 32nd in total defense, 29th against the run, and 32nd against the pass. It's hard to imagine anybody playing this poorly. Now, what are you going to do at this point in the game? Are you going to change the scheme? Are you going to change the players? Are we going to change the way we play? They got to play more physical, man. They're just not playing physical. Their corners don't tackle very well. Their defensive lines, pad levels way too high. And their run fits are not consistent. And their secondary, they have whiplash because they're looking behind them because the ball's flying over their head. They got to play a hell of a lot better. Too many big passing plays against this defense. It's ridiculous for pro football. They have busted coverages. And I mean, sometimes I even see Diggs, who's a hell of a corner, go up there against the Chicago Bears. Rome Odunze, he uses a quick jam technique, and Odunze runs by him for an 80-yard touchdown. A cover 3 safety isn't deep in the middle where he's supposed to be. They're playing Tampa 2, and nobody covers the guy right down the middle. Inexcusable breakdowns, and it's leading, I think, to a lot of negativity, lack of confidence, lack of everything. They got to pick it up. The lack of confidence where nothing's good. You know, you got to go out on the field and you're like, oh shit, we got to go out there? I mean, it's just a bad look. It's a bad feeling right now. The Cowboys, they got to get an interception. Force a fumble, man. We are the Dallas Cowboys. Hold them on downs. Do whatever we can. Take it to the 4th down, get off the field. Hey, get a 3 and out. How about just getting a stop? They got to stop the bleeding now. They got to find a way because the Washington Commanders of all teams are in town. We're playing for 2nd place, and we got to close in on the Eagles. It's all 3 levels of the defense. It's not like you can just say it's this group or that group. The defensive line, I think their pad level's way too high. Their effort isn't consistent. They get stuck on blocks. All we want to talk about is the loss of Micah Parsons. Bullshit. We got to do a better job with the down-to-down fundamentals and quit worrying about all the sacks. We got to win on 1st down, 2nd down. The D-line's got to play better. The linebackers, they're missing tackles. They're not consistent in their run fits and their coverage. They blow a coverage against the Bears. The running back gets a 65-yard gain. There's nobody in the flat. They throw it out there for a 30-yard gain. They got to communicate and recognize and be more disciplined in their coverage. And then the secondary, whether they're playing zone or man, they got to play the proper techniques, and they got to do their jobs individually so they can do their jobs collectively. It's that song again. When I look at it, they get shredded. Everybody's shredding their ass. They got to fix that. Their technique, I mean, hell, think about this against the pass. You're last in the league in yards per pass, 8.3. You're last in the league in TD passes allowed, that's 15. You're last in the league in 40-yard gains allowed, that's 7. And you're last in the league, quarterbacks are throwing for a 116.7 QBR against you. So we all got to pick it up. The hard part for the Cowboys is they've seen Caleb Williams, first year in a new offense, Justin Fields, who we know is struggling throwing the ball, Jalen Hurts, we know the Eagles are struggling throwing the ball, Russell Wilson is on the bench right now, and we've seen Bryce Young and Love of the Green Bay Packers. Guess who's coming in next, Clay? You're going to see Jaden Daniels twice, Pat Mahomes, Jared Goff, and Jake's guy, Justin freaking Herbert. So if you don't like how it is now, Just think if you don't pick up your play. Let's freaking go. The third down defense, we're giving up 53% first downs. That's also last. We're allowing a touchdown on 34% of the opposition's drive. That's 31st. Every single category is not good enough. The secondary, though, is the big issue to me. They just appear lost. Let's take a look at the matchups. Okay, the offensive line of the Washington Commanders, Laramie Tunsil, the 5-time Pro Bowls at left tackle. They do have a new left guard. Chris Paul, 7th-round pick, is now playing left guard. It was Nick Algretti, but it's now 75 Paul. Bia Dish is a badass Pro Bowl center. At right guard, Andrew Wiley, number 71, has been playing here. But look for Sam Cosby, number 76, one of the best in the game, to make his return either against Dallas or next week. And at right tackle, a rookie, Josh Connerly out of Oregon. He really struggled earlier in the season. We documented that. Connerly's getting better. The arrow's going up. So they're improving up front. They're hopeful that Cosby comes back and plays. And this D-line of the Cowboys, they made the trade to move Micah Parsons to Green Bay. They picked up 2 first-round picks. Don't underestimate how important those picks are. But they also got Kenny Clark, number 95. They brought him here to be the run stopper. Well, he hadn't been stopping the run. He has not been playing like the Kenny Clark I remember. His pad level's way too high. He's getting knocked off the ball. He does have a sack and a half, but Kenny Clark, man, he's got to play 10 times better than what I've seen him play. He's too good a player. The other defensive tackle is Osa Odigizua, number 97 out of UCLA. He's got some pass rush. He's a jet. He gets up the field. But he and Clark, they got to play much better against the run or Dallas has no chance. They are not taking on double teams. They are not stuffing guards and centers and getting off blocks. They are not playing the run like they need to play the run. It's not just about rushing the passer. They got to get more out of their run defenders. Solomon Thomas, number 90, comes in 43% of the plays. He's more of a pass rush specialist. He comes in some mixed downs. Mozzie Smith, number 58, former first-round pick out of Michigan. He's been invisible. They got a lot of investments in these defensive tackles. They got to play much, much better against the run. And on the edge, you're going to see a wide variety of players, just like the Commanders. Number 13, Fowler. Dante Fowler had double-digit sacks for the Commanders last year. He comes over to Dallas. He's wearing 13. He can get some pressures, but he's been a liability against the run. He's more of a pass-rushing defensive end. Sammy Williams, number 54, returns from injury. He's a really good player. He plays his ass off. He can rush inside or outside. He's only playing 51% of the plays, but you'll see when 54 is out there, you'll feel his presence. The guy that really jumps off the screen when he's out there is number 53, James Houston, the ex-Cleveland Brown. He's got 3.5 sacks, but this is what he is. He's like an outside linebacker, pass rush specialist. You don't want to see him in rundown situations, but he can go over the guard on 3rd down and 8 or 9, stunt. He can really get off the edge with speed. I like Houston and Fowler as pass rushers. I like Sammy Williams and number 94, Marshawn Nealand, an ex-second round pick, as a base run stuffing defensive end. But they got to stuff the run more. Hell, I even see the old South Carolina Gamecock, number 42, Jadeveon Clowney, playing last week. They got a lot of different guys they're using. This kid from UCLA, Toya, number 93, big old guy. They got to stop the run. They got to get their pads down. They got to key the ball. They got to do a better job keeping these linebackers clean and get after these guards and centers of the Washington Commanders, or it's going to be a long day. Bill, will be a household name after this game. The tight end for the Washington Commanders is Zach Ertz. 6 targets last week, 6 catches and a touchdown. He's second on the team with 20 catches and 200 yards and 3 scores. They can line him up as a conventional tight end. They'll put him in the slot. They can line him up wide. He caught passes from all 3 alignments last week. Ertz is in the game like Ferguson is in the game to run routes and catch passes. He is not an inline blocker. They use John Bates, number 87, out of Boise. And they use number 82, Ben Sinnott. And make a note of this, Jake. Number 73, his name is Scott. He's this big old freaking lineman. He comes in and plays tight end and is a very good blocker and pass protector. Ertz is the guy they want to throw it to. Scott, Bates, and Sinnott, they use strategically in the running game. The safeties of the Cowboys, Malik Hooker, the ex-Indianapolis Colt who played for Eberflus in Indianapolis, is on IR. So they're using Wunye Thomas, number 2, an undrafted free agent out of Georgia Tech. He's had some issues now in coverage. He's got some talent. He wears number 2, but he is an inexperienced player on the back end. And trust me, he's going to be challenged by Jedi 5. The other safety is Donovan Wilson, number 6. I love Wilson at or near the line of scrimmage. He's second on the team in tackles. He's got both of the Cowboys' interceptions. Matter of fact, one of them was thrown right into the Carolina receiver's hands. He dropped it, and Wilson caught it on a ricochet. But Wilson has really struggled in deep coverage. Cover 3 safety, quarter safety. He's given up some big chunks when he's playing deep. Near the line of scrimmage, a very good player, number 6, Wilson. The nickel corner is going to be another rookie, Reddy Stewart. I like that name. Are you ready? Reddy Stewart, number 27 out of Troy, undrafted free agent. He's going to be in there in the slot, number 27, going up against Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel, if he plays with that heel, is playing more in the slot than I've ever seen him play before. You know, when I look at Deebo, he's been inside 95 times and outside 49 times in the passing game. That's the opposite of where he was in San Francisco. He's not carrying the ball like he did either. Only 1.3 carries per game. But Stewart is an undrafted free agent. Thomas is an undrafted free agent. That's a little bit different than the Cowboy defense I went up against when they had Darren Woodson playing back there at safety and Deion Sanders at corner, those son of a bitches. Anyways, they got some inexperience. The other corner, number 7, is Trevon Diggs. Diggs has really struggled this year. I don't understand it. He struggled to get men on the ground. He's given up some really big, explosive passes. He's been beat over the top uncharacteristically. He had a terrible pass interference call last week, jumping a quick out. Diggs has got to start playing like Diggs. They got some guys that can pick it up now. And over here, Deron Bland, he just got a new contract. He's given up some plays I'm not accustomed to seeing. These 2 corners should be the strength of this secondary, and Donovan Wilson down around the line of scrimmage should be very, very good. They got to get the front going because at wide receiver, without Terry McLaurin, without Noah Brown, they're throwing passes to Chris Moore, Jake. Chris Moore is in his 10th season. He's a special teams demon. This guy's playing his ass off, 6 catches, 105 yards, but that's supposed to be Terry McLaurin. Are you guys with me? Yep. And over here, Luke McCaffrey. That's right, Christian McCaffrey's brother. He has 8 catches, 179 yards, 3 touchdowns in the last 4 games. Doesn't have a lot of targets, but he's making big plays when he gets his shot. And this rookie, Jalen Lane out of Virginia Tech, don't you love the Hokies, Jake? Woo! I mean, this guy had a touchdown last week against the Bears, 90-yard punt return against the Raiders, 7 catches, 82 yards. I look for Lane and McCaffrey to be a bigger part of this game plan. And finally, it's the linebackers of the Cowboys we got to get familiar with. Jack Sanborn, 57. Second leading tackler, looks like he's out of the game. The leading tackler is Kenneth Murray, number 59. He's struggled in pass coverage. Man, he is a hitter. He will smoke you, but he's got to get better looks. They got to keep him clean. Guys are getting up in his cage. He has had a hard time finding the ball. And over here, Leofau, second-year player out of Notre Dame. He had a sack last week against Carolina. Matter of fact, it was the only sack. It was because the Panthers blew the protection. But Leofau, he's got 10 tackles this year, number 35. He's missed 4 tackles. He's really struggled in space. The guy that's really been playing well is this Shamar James, number 50. He's a 5th-round rookie out of Florida. Matter of fact, he's the first Cowboy ever to have 11 tackles or more in consecutive weeks. So at least he's showing up on the stat sheet. This is going to be a very tall order for the Cowboys. They're struggling on the D-line, they're struggling at linebacker, and they're really struggling at the secondary. They don't have much confidence, they don't have an identity. But there's always next week. They got to start from scratch, just find 2 or 3 things they can do well and pick up their intensity, improve their pad level, gang tackle, man, and every guy's got to rev it up another 10 or 12%, or they're in trouble. One of the things I love about the Cowboys is they can do a lot of different things. One of the things Schottenheimer does an excellent job is his trips X isolation package. The X is the name of the weak side receiver in trips. You got the Y, you got the F, and you got the Z. Don't ask me why, but that's the X. So this trips, they isolate the X receiver one-on-one, and that X receiver has been George Pickens, the ex-Pittsburgh Steeler, number 3. And they might throw a lot of cover 2 plays over here, and if they get cover 2, they throw it over here. But as soon as they get a single high safety, they will go to Pickens with a lot of individual cuts. And I mean, this is going to be a test for you, Jake. What if I give you this signal right here? I slant my arm across my chest. That's a 3-step slant. If I go like this, pound my hand into my fist into the hand, that's a slant and go. We call that a sluggo. Are you with me, Jake? Yep. If I want you to run a quick out, I just snap my fingers and we run a 5-yard quick out, yes? Yep. If I want to run a 10 to 12-yard square out, I just point to the sideline with my thumb, and it's a 10 to 12-yard rollover square out cut. You got me? Mm-hmm. If I want you to run a 12-yard hook, I just hook my jersey like that. That's just a hook route. Are you with me, Jake? Yeah. If I want you to run a 20-yard dig route right down your inside stem, I use a shovel like I'm shoveling, digging a hole. Yeah. Are you with me? Gotcha. If I want you to run a slant burst release, push it up to 18 to 20 and break out, we call that a circus. We used to just take the little circle in the hole of our helmet. That was a circus. If I want you to run a 5-yard hitch, I would just hitch my pants. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then if I wanted you to run an old school Dallas Cowboy, Troy Aikman to Michael Irvin seam post, outside foot is back, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turn right over that 5th step. Yeah. Catch that ball at about 18 yards. That was an X on a seam post. We gave you a signal at the post. So let's say you're George Pickens and you're standing over there and you see it single high. And I go like this.
Sluggo.
Whew, good job.
Slant. Hook.
Oh, very good. What if I went like this?
Go.
You're gone. You're running a go route. What if I said,
dig.
Very good, Jake. What about this?
Circus.
Shit, Jake. How about,
seam post.
That's very good. Well, you got to pick somebody. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys, 40. The Commanders, 38 on a 71-yard field goal by Brandon Aubrey. How about them Cowboys? Enjoy the game, everybody. Woo!
Kick is away. It's got the leg. It's straight. Oh, my goodness. He drilled it 71 yards, and it blew right through the back wall. Glass is gone. Ball into the Texas night, and the Cowboys win it. You are kidding me. This place is a mess.